to the Cathedral of Shadows, where demons gather.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Cathedral of Shadows, a Megami Tensei Podcast. I'm Rasen.
I'm Katsu.
And we're recording a little later this week, but that's fine. It's Monday. Got a bit of news to talk about both on our end, and also some controversy has erupted since we've been gone for a week. A little bit of craziness around, but I think we'll talk about that later. So let's start with the small stuff. So first thing I want to say is we are finally on iTunes. Yay!
Yeah, we're Hollywood now.
Yeah, we got out of that YouTube ghetto. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna post the link below. I've kind of been dicking around with it. This is my first real time I've ever had anything on iTunes, so I'm just messing around with getting everything there. I'm slowly but surely uploading all of our old stuff onto that feed. So it might be a while before everything's caught up. I'm gonna try and do it within a week, but I'm not entirely sure. It's just kind of a long and boring process. So yeah, I'll have a link below so you can subscribe to it wherever. And we don't have to have people complaining about the MP3 download and YouTube thing. That's actually
Yeah.
funny because the reason I didn't have this before is I sound cheap as fuck, but I've basically been trying to avoid having any monetary value put in anything really YouTube related I do, so that includes COS. I like keeping money out of it, whether that is gaining or losing money and such. So I just kept getting people, like I've gotten probably 5 in the last month, and I've gotten a lot before, just people like, you should try getting this on iTunes, however. And when we had started the show, our host, archive.org, which we use for MP3s, apparently just did not ever want to work with iTunes. And it sounded like they never really cared to fix that, just because they didn't seem to be that preoccupied about it. But apparently things have changed since we started, because now you can actually have everything working right with the feed with archive.org. So yeah, we're on there. Um,
Yay.
it's a little obtuse the way you have to set everything up, but if you want, you could totally make a podcast on iTunes for free. Yeah, it was a lot easier than I expected. It was just you need a little bit more of a roundabout way to go about setting everything up, and it's not the most efficient, but it works. So yeah, go check that out. Also, something I think there's going to be people that are probably going to be wondering about this, since we do use the video part of our show quite a bit sometimes, where we show off images people have sent, or we just want to put something up on the screen for everyone to see. So I guess that kind of puts us in a situation where either, because I'm sure both of us don't want to stop doing that, because it's really nice for the people that do watch
Yeah.
on YouTube and stuff. So I think either we're going to need to be more descriptive about what we're talking about, or I mean, just kind of being a little bit more helpful in regards to what we put up on screen, be a little bit more descriptive.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll work on that. I'm sure people that have been listening to us on the MP3 versions and stuff have gotten confused before about that too, so that'll be helpful for them. And also, yes, I will still provide the direct MP3 download in the description in case you don't want to subscribe for whatever reason to the actual feed. So yeah, check that out. Other thing I want to talk about before we get into actual news, just quick update on what we're doing. I beat Digital Devil Saga yesterday.
Yeah, the first one.
hmm
Yeah, I heard you were having a pretty hard time.
Uh, Kinda more so with the bonus boss. That final. God, I was making fun of it on Twitter because it's basically the Dragon Ball Z dragon. I think they localized it as like
Seryu?
no, it's see that's what it's called in Japan, I think, but I think it's Huang Long.
Yeah, Swang Long. That's
Yeah,
that's his proper name.
that's like the Chinese name for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was I was having some difficulty with him, but I grinded up some mantras and he's dead. And then God, that final boss takes forever. Holy shit.
Yeah, it
E-
kind of does.
Even with because I know technically you can isn't like the recommended level for that like 55 or so.
Somewhere around there.
Like you could totally fight that at 55. I've seen people do it and I've heard about people saying that. But holy shit, that final form is just like an endurance run. I think it took me a solid 20-25 minutes of just whittling away at it, and it was quite the grind. But man, that ending is sure a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I mean,
Please insert this too.
pretty much like holy shit. I kind of expected, and I knew going in that it was a cliffhanger because everyone kind of knows at this point. I think that Digital Devil Saga 2 is pretty much the second half of the story. But holy shit, that was even more of a cliffhanger than I expected. Damn.
Yeah.
I would have if I bought Digital Devil Saga 1 when it came out and 2 wasn't even localized yet, I would be so like salty. It's like holy shit, I need to know what happens next. But I don't
Game's not even out yet.
yeah, I know, but thank God I got them both at the same time. So I have Digital Devil Saga 2 in my possession. Only thing I want to do is I want to do some New Game Plus stuff because I fucked up some of those choices for unlocking stuff in the second game, specifically the heat stuff because I basically the first heat option I fucked up right away because I'm like, you know what, fuck you heat, so he didn't like that, and I want to get him into DDS too because why not? So I'll work on that, and also I want to do the Demi Fiend.
Oh, you're gonna try to attempt the Demi Fiend?
Yeah, I should have worded that better. I don't want to actually fuck the Demi Fiend. I think that would be pretty bad for the multiverse as a whole. No, I want to beat the Demi Fiend in Digital Devil Saga 1. There we go. I worded that better the second time around. Um, yeah, I'm going to try and beat his ass down. Now, from what I understand, there's. God, I wish some people were telling me about this, some good friends of mine. I think it's called the something star strategy. It's named after the person that invented it, or something like that, where apparently you don't even need to do the null sleep stuff anymore. If you have a high enough party, you can just drain his MP until he can't do anything, pretty much.
Just keep draining his NP until he can't do anything. He's
Yeah.
just sitting duck.
Well, apparently it sounds like he still can do quite a bit of damage just with his other attacks that don't require MP, but you can just, Meteoron, and you're fine after that. So, yeah, that seems like that seems like a legit strategy, so
Yeah.
I'll I don't know what I'm gonna do yet because I kind of want to try out the null sleep thing just to experience the bullshit firsthand.
Oh man, I tried out the null sleep stuff and I couldn't take it anymore.
Did you even ever get him to like red health or no? Not even close.
No, not even close.
Uh, yeah. So I'll get back to everyone on that. I don't know if I'm gonna do it right away. I might take a little break for now because I got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So yeah.
Yeah.
But god damn, yeah, I really wanna try find that, and also I'm gonna probably review Digital Devil Saga soon. I know I said I'd review SMT1 soon as well. I'll probably do that after this is done recording because I've been slacking on that. I'm a slacker.
Yeah, you need to get it together.
I do. So yeah, I'll get back to everyone on the Digital Devil Saga experience. Great game though. If you haven't bought it, go do that. Solid.
Yeah.
Assuming you have a PS2 and everything. Well, enough about us. Going more into the news. It's been quite the week. Got a lot of stuff going on. So first things first is one of the Persona composers, not Meguro, but one of the secondary composers. Oh, I don't have his name on me, but I'll link to a NeoGAF thread where they have it listed. Apparently he stated that Atlus is working on a surprising unannounced title.
A surprising unannounced Persona 4 title.
Well, we don't know if it's Persona 4, but
We might as well go in assuming it's Persona 4 related. We don't want to get our hopes up anymore.
it's Persona related. Well, I'm assuming it's going to be Persona related because I think he was only on for the Persona stuff. So unless they want to bring him into other SMT stuff or maybe just other Atlus stuffs as a whole. But it could be an unannounced Persona. Well, see, here's the thing. It's it was a surprising unannounced Persona title, so I'm not entirely sure if that means a
It's a
game
Persona 4 game.
or if it's a possible anime adaptation that we're gonna talk about later.
Another first. Never mind. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna stop right there.
Um, well, yeah, we'll get into that. Jesus. But so that's surprising to me because Atlus has their hands full. There's still
Atlus's hands are very full,
well, I
and they
mean,
still want to do more stuff.
they're still not that big. They may appear big because they have so much stuff and they're really
But
popular amongst
yeah,
internet people, but
they only have
they're
like
pretty small.
120 employees. That's like 20 more than the team it took to make Final Fantasy X.
Jeez. But yeah, like I can't believe they're working on all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's so crazy to think about. Now, who knows what this could be? Everyone's guess is as good as ours, so stay tuned for that. However, in other surprising announcements, literally, I think it was an hour, maybe 2 hours since this recording, John Harden, Atlus USA's PR manager, for those of you who don't know him, went on r/Megaten and said, "Hey, everyone, check PSN tomorrow. It's a secret, but just check PSN tomorrow." So I think it's safe to assume that we are probably going to see
Oh,
it.
speaking of Atlus, they have an unannounced. Atlus USA has an unannounced game coming out soon.
That's actually what this is.
Oh, this is what this is.
Yeah, he said in the Reddit thread that because Silicon Era said that they were contacted by Atlus USA, and they gave out like a little hint that no one has really solved yet. Here, I'll link to that below too.
It's something about rhinoceroses and beetles or what?
Something about rhinos and yeah, it's really fucking weird. No one has solved it yet, and no one's really sure. Like some people think it's trauma center related, some people think it's Nocturne related. It's really fucking weird. I didn't. I'm not gonna lie. I knew about that, but I didn't want to bring it up because it's so fucking confusing, and I didn't want to get it involved. But oh well. Yeah, I'll link to that below. But basically, there is something coming out on PSN tomorrow. More than likely, it's Mega 10 related because he posted about it on our Mega 10. So
Yeah.
yeah, that'll be exciting. So whenever we see what that is, I'm thinking it's either Digital Devil Saga 1 or Nocturne.
Yeah. One of those two.
Yeah, because actually, you know what? It could be Rhino. See,
It could be Rhino too.
yeah, it could be Rhino too because I think those. Well, obviously those are the three because they're not going to release Digital Devil Saga 2 before 1. So you know what? I'd actually say Rhino 2 is probably more likely than Nocturne at this point, just because of the Dante thing.
Yeah.
Because
They have to fix. They have to do something about the license.
yeah, because we still don't know the legal stuff with that. So I'd say probably Digital Devil Saga, maybe Rhino 2, maybe Nocturne, but I think that's the least likely. That'd be awesome if it was any. I
Yeah,
mean,
that'd be great.
yeah. And then also Digital Devil Saga has. I think also part of the reason is we talked about this a few weeks ago. When Rhino 1 came on PSN, it had Digital Devil Saga's
His
description.
description.
So I think that's a safe bet, if any. So yeah, everyone stay tuned for that. And also another thing, I wanted to bring this up for a while now, but I kept forgetting because I'm a dumbass. No one seemed to have seen this, but it's actually kind of important in my opinion. So John Harden, we've talked about this. He hangs out on the Mega 10 subreddit a lot now and messes around with everyone. A lot of fun. And someone asked about SMT1 sales, and basically they were kind of curious because they're like, well, I'd be interested in seeing SMT2 for iOS or maybe an SMT1 Android version, and I want to know if anyone has any statistics or like sales numbers so we can see if those are possible. And no one really had sales numbers, it seemed like, at that point, but John Harden did come in and say that SMT2 for iOS is more likely than an Android version of SMT1. but everything's still up in the air yet. But I think that's pretty
It's good and bad.
that's yeah, because on one hand SMT2, fuck yeah. On the other hand, sorry
No,
Android people.
yeah, sad life.
But like no one talked about this. I'm like, holy shit, because like they're thinking about it. It seems like then because they've already thought that out.
Yeah, they're considering it,
So
or they're probably working on it right now. They just don't want to say anything.
that'd be interesting. I think they're still kind of testing the waters a little bit. Maybe they're just gonna see because it's only been a few. It's really only been like a month.
Yeah, it's been a few. Yeah, it hasn't even been that long.
So I think they're gonna wait and see how SMT1 continues to sell, and then maybe they'll make a decision there. But they're seeing the mobile market and what it's worth. So
Yes.
good stuff there. I'll screen cap that and have it. I'll have those related posts in the video. But anyways, moving on to more news. Naturally, every time we do an episode of COS, it seems like Atlus of Japan announces they're going to do something pretty much
Yeah.
as soon as we upload. Or no, after we record an episode of COS, more SMT news comes out pretty much right after. It's crazy. This has happened to us like 5 weeks in a row now, I think.
Yeah.
Like I just remember last week or not last week, but a few weeks ago or whatever, we just finished recording the podcast, and then the anime the subs for the Persona 3 movie got announced like literally an hour after. It was
Yeah,
stupid.
like right after. Yeah.
It's like, God damn it, we just recorded it. So, but yeah, so that happened again last week where Atlus of Japan said, "Hey, we're gonna have a stream for an announcement. It's Persona related." Um, okay, so I guess we're going into that controversy territory. So the first thing I want to say is they announced the stream,
Yeah.
they give the time, and people check
They
this.
region locked it.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. It was region locked. So naturally, this is something more oriented for the Japanese viewers because from what I understand, you need to you need to manually set that. It's not region locked by default, correct?
Yeah, it's not region locked by default. You have to do it
Well,
yourself.
yeah, because this was on Nico Nico, correct?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So
It was also restreamed on Twitch, but I heard those accounts got shut down.
there was quite a few people that did that, and like that. God, whoever, because I have a feeling that it was. I have a feeling Twitch themselves didn't really care. I think it was more trolls that were like, "Hey, I'm be a dick to Persona fans." So
Yeah.
whoever was reporting those, you're an asshole. Screw you guys. But yeah, there was quite some hype going into this stream and everything. So the first thing I want to talk about real quick is that a lot of people really hyped this up. Now,
Yeah.
you and I talked a little bit before we started recording this. I didn't think it was going to be much. I really didn't even think we'd talk about it on the show because I didn't. That's how little I expected from this announcement.
Yeah.
I thought it would be merchandise related, and that's why it was
Mhm.
region locked because we just won't see it in the West. So, they didn't want us getting excited. What did you think
Yeah.
it was, out of
It
curiosity?
was probably just some Japan exclusive thing. They were probably going to talk about, I don't know, maybe they were going to bring back the Persona Music Lives and they were just going to announce a new one. It's like, hey, we're doing another Persona Music Live soon, and
Well, that's the other thing too.
bring the family, bring the kids.
Yeah, because that's the other man. I'd take my kid to see Lotus Juice. Fuck it, no. Um, one thing that they did say is that I think this is a big part of it that I somehow skipped out on my retelling. They said it was a new project that was being announced.
Oh, it was a new project. I
Yes.
missed that part.
Oh, because I think that's what got people excited the most because everyone
Yeah.
immediately, when you hear new Persona project, of course
You
everyone.
immediately think Persona 5, Persona 5, Persona 5. That's what everyone thought.
Well, no, because new, even like unrelated from that, everyone. Well, okay, not everyone, but there's a lot of people that are like, "This is a new game," and I immediately was like, "Guys, it's not a new game. They have the four personas that they're working on. They have Break Record. They have SMT Cross Fire Emblem. They're pretty full, and apparently whatever that composer was hinting at that was unannounced. So they have that on top of everything else too. So I was just saying, this probably isn't gonna be a new game, but a lot of people, for whatever reason, was like, "Oh man, I hope it's a definitive version of Persona 3," which for some reason the fan base is starting to call Persona 3 Silver, and I think that's the most obnoxious name ever. So
Noxious name ever. So please stop it,
yeah,
guys.
please stop. That name is a terrible, terrible name. Um, but yeah, everyone really wants to, because I guess the reason.
Before we even get into that huge controversial topic, they also announced that on June 12th, the Persona magazine's coming back.
Oh yeah, there's that. So that'll be a source of news, hopefully, for new info and stuff. Um, but the later announcement overshadowed everything else. Now, okay, I want to get back to the Persona 3 thing real quick. Everyone wants a definitive version of Persona 3 for whatever reason because FES has some pros.
Because
Uh,
FES and Persona 3 Portable just weren't enough. We needed more.
well, because they both have different things. Like you can't play as a
Yeah.
female in FES. You don't have the cutscenes and stuff and whatever and portable and yada yada yada. So people still argue, and someone's like, well, why don't they just merge both and have the best of both in one game? Personally, you know what? I don't really think we need that. I
I
know.
don't think we need it. It'll be good. It'll be fun
Well, I know, but I'd
and
rather.
interesting to see how they tackle the female perspective of FES, but we don't really need it right now.
Well, what I think, well, that's the thing though. Right now, I think later on, a few years from now, I'd like to see that. But for right now, I don't really like. I think we have enough three coverage game wise, and it would be kind of nice to see those features implemented together in one game. But eh, you know. So
Yeah.
immediately, I was trying to tell people, guys, don't like on Twitter and I think even Reddit. I kind of butted in a few conversations, but I was just trying to tell people, like, guys, don't get excited. Don't think this is a game. And the stream happened. There's a lot of awkward groping from what I hear. I was in class.
There was a lot of awkward groping. I saw some screenshots and like
I saw I saw a gif
There's this
of
one on
his balls being rubbed.
Yeah, there's this one screenshot on Tumblr where they had like 90s Atlas with Kaneko and I forget the other guy, and they were in suits and ties and fedoras and they were looking all professional. Then they had Atlas today and they were all groping each other.
Yeah, it was a really odd stream from what I've seen of it. I haven't actually watched the entire
Archive.
stream.
I don't plan on watching.
Yeah, neither do I really.
If any exist.
Yeah, there are a few I've seen them, but well, I've seen that they exist. I haven't sat down and watched them like I just said. But so, anyways, I guess we should stop beating around the bush and get to the real the real meat of it. So they come out and announce Persona 4 Golden, the animation.
And a motherfucking animation.
So, wow, holy shit,
Wow.
this is gonna, man, I am already sick of the arguments this is gonna cause and has already caused. Now, there is a wide range of reactions.
There were some
think
people
it's
who were like, "Yay, Persona 4 Golden Anime," and it's being animated. It's not being animated by the same studio that did Persona 4 the animation. Thank God. It's
however,
being
a
it's being
lot of the
animated.
staff is
Yeah,
the same.
a lot of the staff is the same. The animators are completely different because it's a different studio. It's done by A1 Pictures, and for those who know who A1 Pictures are, they make some pretty looking anime.
Which is good because then it'll avoid the issue we had from the original with the
Yes,
quality,
with the sunburned faces and the quality.
the sunburned faces. I never even noticed that, but yeah, that shading was really fucking weird on those faces. God damn.
It was weird.
It, like, yeah, god damn, I can't unsee it now. I hate Persona 4 the animation even more after you pointed that out. God damn. Okay, so
And then Persona 4 Golden the animation is not going to make us unhate Persona 4 the animation.
yeah. Well, okay, so there's still some people that like that, and I'll never understand it, but okay.
Yeah.
I can't stand that. Oh, it's so bad. Add that onto the pile of things I don't like that are Megaten related alongside Persona 1. Oh, man. But, no, what I was... I'm sure I'm going to get a comment with people getting angry at me about that, too. But one thing that I want to point out is that a lot of people got really emotional over this. Now, if I had to put like a stamp down on where the majority of the fan base seems to feel about this, at least on the Western side of things, I think the reaction was
Everyone fucking hits it.
I'd say it's kind of in the middle, but I think leaning more negative than positive. Definitely more negative. I saw a lot of Persona
And
people.
then there's a lot of then there's everyone on the Persona defense force trying to defend. The
there's stupid people on both sides. Oh God,
yeah, there's
like,
stupid hate and stupid.
well, yeah, there's the mindless people that are hating on it and saying it's gonna be bad, and it's like it's not even fucking out yet. We don't know. Shut the fuck up. And there's
I don't
also
have high hopes for it anyways. It's
neither
like
do
the
I.
same people who are working on it,
Yeah,
and
I
it's a
don't either.
game to anime adaptation. That's warning bells enough.
But like there's the mindless haters because it's like this isn't Persona 3 Silver. I hate it. And then there's like it's like, well, you're a dumbass for expecting that anyways. Then there's the people that are like this is oh crap, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I waited through a hour-long stream or whatever for this, and like they got really upset because they were teased by Atlus or trolled by Atlus or whatever. But then you have people mindlessly defending it like, no, it's Persona. That means it's automatically good. And it's like, well, that's not true either. So
That's not true.
yeah, like
We've had bad Persona games before. Look at Persona One.
God damn it. Uh, that was
We've
good.
had bad Persona anime before. Look at Trinity Soul.
Yeah, that's true too. Um, apparently some of the manga stuff I've heard from whatever were pretty bad too. But yeah, but like I just want to say everyone before we get into this, everyone take a step back and just kind of calmly look at things because everyone needs to take a deep fucking breath. But what okay, so this is what I want to say. Here, I guess we'll just go down our thoughts on it. So my thoughts on it, it's too okay, so this is my main issue. It's too close to the original anime adaptation's release, in my opinion. I think if we had waited 2 years and then this got announced, I don't think. Well, okay,
I don't think the backlash would be this bad.
yeah, because there would still be people that would be angry about it, but I don't think it would
Yeah,
be as big.
yeah. If we
There's
got like the original Persona 4 anime came out in what 2011.
yeah, around that time, 2011, 2012.
Yeah. So if we had waited at least like another year or two and then they released
I'd
this,
say 2 years, like 4 or 5 after the original. That's not too bad. I mean, that's isn't that the difference between like Full Metal Alchemist and Brotherhood? Something,
yeah,
yeah, like see, like that's fine. Man, I can't remember the year on Full Metal Alchemist stuff, but
Full Metal Alchemist. I think it came out in like 2003, the original anime.
and then Brotherhood was like 9.
2009, 2008, something like
So,
that.
okay, yeah, someone's gonna correct us since they were horribly wrong, but whatever. But yeah, so what I wanted to point out though too is I think that's a large contributing factor. And then one thing I do want to say is that I don't want to speak for the overall quality of the adaptation itself, but there's a few things to keep in mind. First thing is that it's a new animation studio, so a lot of the animation problems, like we said before, probably not going to be there. But at the same time, it's the same staff, so maybe the pacing and story issues that were existed.
Plaguing the original are still going to be apparent.
Yeah, that might still be an issue. But here's the other thing, though, because we've talked about this before. Apparently, the Persona 3 movies not that bad. They're apparently pretty solid.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that that's a sign that he's. I can't remember.
He's learning from his mistakes.
Yeah, I can't remember the director's name. I'm terrible with names, I know, but I'm hoping that that's a sign that he's getting better at the story aspect and the adaptation stuff, and that he can make this adaptation better story
Half
pacing
decent.
wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it might also be a thing where maybe he just works better with movies, and maybe he just can't write for a longer series.
Yeah, he can't write an 80-plus-hour game in 20 whatever episodes.
Yeah, maybe because that's the thing too. Because writing a story for an episodic format and writing a story for a 4-part movie series is very different.
Yeah.
Because because I think a problem with the episode format too is there are some people, and I think this is kind of apparent in the Persona 4 anime, where you have a bunch more episodes, so I feel like your story can waste more time in a way, but then if that adds up too much, that becomes a problem. And
Yeah, and Persona 4 anime wasted way too much time.
I think there was a lot of time spent on stupid shit that was kind of
Yeah.
bad, and I think some of the pivotal moments did not get enough time and budget put on it, which really depressed me.
There was there was a more emphasis on comedy than there was on the actual storytelling.
Yes, and you can argue that because you see this a lot, where people say the actual plot and narrative of Persona 4 isn't the best, but the characters are what make it. So maybe if you're thinking more of that line, maybe that's okay, and I can definitely see that. But I think that there's a lot of strong messages and themes in Persona 4 that were not conveyed very well in the anime adaptation. I just I was not a fan of that. But so I guess overall what I want to say is we don't know if this is going to be good yet. We can guess, but we're not. We're really not going to know until we start seeing it for ourselves. And I think it's airing in June, is it? Or July?
Yes, it's airing this summer.
Yeah.
Very soon. Summer season's about to start in July.
I'm surprised
That's
it's this early, actually. So
yeah.
yeah, it's July then. Okay. But man, so I guess getting into the bigger thing though too is the milking side of it.
Oh, the milking, yes.
I like how milking has become such a buzzword in this community. It's yeah.
Yeah, there's no denying it anymore. This is just straight up milking. This isn't something like the 4 Persona games that were announced. They're like the road to Persona 5. Like Persona 5 in winter, then you have all these Persona games coming up. It's just to hold you over to get you hyped for the eventual Persona 5.
Mhm.
And if it was just those games, that would have been fine. But now we have a new anime, quote unquote new anime.
Yeah.
Now you can say with a straight face that this is straight up milking.
Well, here's the thing, because you can, for every other project, and I've said this before, milking is fine as long as what you're putting out is good.
It's good, yeah.
And it has been so far, but there's a problem when there is such a thing as too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
And I think there's a problem where, okay, so here's what I want to say. You can make a defense for almost everything else. For Arena, you can say, you know what, it's a fighting game. It carries over some of the Persona stuff, but overall,
carries over Persona stuff. It's a very solid game. It's been the Evo.
Yeah, it's a serious competitive fighter. It's well made. The story may not be too hot depending on who you ask, but it's a solid fighter that has Persona on it. So sure enough, you can defend that. Persona Q is actually not seen Persona had a baby. So that's definitely something like new and unique, and you can defend that. Ultimax you can defend because competitive fighters need updates and whatnot, and
they need updates or they're just going to get stale and boring.
Yeah, exactly. If they want to stay relevant, they need to have updated versions like that, which I know a lot of people don't understand, but once you look at competitive play, you realize that fighters do need re-releases and sequels and such like that. So Ultimax is defendable in that regard. Dancing All Night, they're entering the rhythm genre. That's new and unique. We haven't seen anything like that, etc.
There hasn't been a Mega 10 rhythm game, so
yeah, like you can defend everything else. This is the first thing that I'd argue is the word I'm gonna really like using to describe this is it just feels gratuitous.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to in my mind. And I know a lot of people are gonna say, well, why aren't you excited? Because they re-release stuff all the time, like Persona 3 FES or Devil Survivor Overclocked. You should be happy, just like any other re-release.
FES and Overclock have brand new story arcs and balance changes to their gameplay.
Yeah, that's what I mean though too. Like with an anime re-release, you're effectively telling a new take on the same story. We know what's going to happen. We know how everything plays out. It's just you're watching it for the sake of the adaptation at that point. Whereas something like a game re-release, they're adding new story elements, they're redefining the gameplay, which is a major part of the experience. I'd argue there's a lot more change, and that justifies the purchase more so than a second anime series about the same story.
And those Blu-ray box sets are still gonna be like $80 for 2 episodes, ripping off the Japanese consumer.
Oh god, anime prices.
And they're going to region lock the Blu-ray, and they're going to region lock the Blu-rays again, so we're only going to get the English dub. That is if and only if a respectable company picks up the anime. If it's Aniplex, you can kiss that price goodbye. Kiss those $40 goodbye. You're going to be charged like $100.
Okay, but yeah, that's just kind of where I want to put on this is that this is the first time where I felt that Atlus is
gone too far.
Yes, and if they haven't, they're kind of pushing the fence a bit.
Yeah.
This is kind of to the point where it's like, okay, I don't feel the creative passion or the energy like I do with the other stuff, if that makes
I feel
sense.
like this is just a cash grab. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't feel.
exactly. I feel like
I don't.
Atlus is saying, let's just cash in the check because we know this will
We
do
know this will
amazing
sell.
numbers. Yeah.
Yeah. Like when the games were announced, you could still feel the passion that
Yeah.
Atlus was putting into each and every one of their games, and now with this anime, it feels like it's gone. And to be honest, it kind of sets a scary
Well,
precedent.
it just feels so yeah, it does. That's why I'm kind of scared because it feels just so like forced and unneeded that
Needed, forced, and yeah,
like I don't know how else to describe it, but you just can't really it I don't know. I'd say it really feels at this point like they're saying, "Oh, we need some more extra cash. What should we? Oh, let's do a Persona 4 anime adaptation. Oh, we
a
just did one. Oh,
golden
too bad. Yeah, let's make it golden this time. That way we'll get all the
get more
money."
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get more money,
Now,
and
uh,
it does set a scary precedent. We know Persona 5 will be good because yeah,
and
it still kind of has that passion there. When they talk about Persona 5 in the interviews, you can see it in a way.
you know what bothers me too is there's a lot of people defending this, and I think that's kind of scary too because it's like
Yeah.
as
What if it like let's be realistic here. What if it gets worse from here on out?
yeah,
There's going to be more and more cash grabs,
well,
and
that's
then
what I
more and
mean
more
though.
people are going to start defending it.
If we as consumers and fans can't say this is just based off premise alone, this isn't the best idea, we don't really care for this idea, then if we can't say that, then they're just going to be like, well, okay, they're fine with us making whatever because it'll sell and they'll support it. There's a point where we need to say, as fans of something, you know what, we want something else.
Yeah.
Um, and
We're not saying it's gone to that point either, but
it could.
it could. And with the advent of Persona 4 Golden the anime, it seems like it may happen.
It, See, that's the thing. It's going to be curious. I'm curious to see how this plays out because, well, one thing I want to say too is that there's a lot of people that are like, well, I love Persona 4, therefore I love this because it's more Persona 4. You know, I love Devil Survivor 2. Anyone who listens to this podcast knows I'm the biggest motherfucking Devil Survivor 2 fanboy you'll probably ever meet in your life. I mindlessly defend that game because I'm a fanboy, and I admit I have the worst bias towards that game where I just can't pick out anything I really heavily dislike about it aside from one or two things. It's a terrible bias I have, but even with that bias, if they announced Devil Survivor 2 Break Record the animation, I'd be like, you know what?
Fuck you
We
guys.
Yeah, like we just had an anime adaptation, and it really
It was
was
terrible.
and it was terrible. I don't need another one. Like, make something else. You know what I mean? Like, I can go without. Um, but there's one more thing I want to address too, is that people have been talking about, well, guys, it's okay to milk because that's what Atlas needs to survive. They do need to milk though, I'd say, because
Yeah, they do need to milk to survive because especially since now they're their own company now.
yeah, that I guess that's part of it too. But I'd say this: the only reason this is looking at it realistically, the only reason we get any other Mega 10 stuff anymore is because of the P3 and P4 money.
Yeah.
Like, you'd be stupid to not see that. The only reason we still get that stuff is because they can afford to do it.
They can afford to do it. They can afford the assets and royalties because of all the Persona money.
hmm And if honestly, if they didn't milk Persona, we'd probably just see Persona stuff and not much. Because once you have more money, you can do more creative risks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you can put out stuff that may not make the most amount of profit or may even lose money. Hopefully it doesn't, but if you have backup money that you can keep getting, then it's not as hard as a blow. So they can take more risks, which is, I think that's a large part why Atlas is successful too, and why they have such a diehard fan base. Like you and I, because
Yeah.
they make the risks and they're not afraid to try new things and they innovate and their products are usually better because of it. Now,
Yeah.
what I do want to say though is you can still milk something while making it creative, innovative, and good.
That's something that people don't seem to understand.
Yes, just because something is milking does not mean that it's necessarily a bad product. I mean, look at Arena. The game is fucking
Yeah.
amazing, It's one of the best fighters that has been released in recent times. It's still kind of milking. You
Yeah,
can't really
it's still
deny it.
milking. You can't deny the fact that it's milking the franchise.
Yeah, so what kind of bothers me about a lot of people defending this anime adaptation too is because you you can still do something they could have done something different. Like they could have done an arena adaptation or whatever else, something unique that hasn't been done yet before. I mean, Atlus is creative enough; they could have thought up of something. The animation
Yeah.
studio, I'm sure, would have loved to hear their idea. You can still milk something, but have a interesting premise and something that is unprecedented. Whereas this
Or
is,
just have like you could have like Persona 4 anime based off based off the Accomplice ending.
or yeah, like maybe, I mean, even like an anime adaptation of The Answer or something. Like
Yeah.
they could totally do something different. They didn't. That's I think what a major part of it is that you can milk something, but we don't need a retread, if that makes
Yeah.
sense too. So that's definitely a major part of it. Man, I can't think of anything. Can't think of
Else to
anything.
say?
Yeah, well, I guess I do want to close up that point, and I think that's the reason a lot of people are upset by this. And I mean, I'm still gonna watch it, obviously. I mean, I'm gonna be streaming it, so it's not like they're getting my money either way.
I'm
Uh,
gonna be torrenting it, so nobody's getting my money anyway.
yeah, like I just do that with anime. I'm sorry, until anime prices go down, I probably won't buy any anime.
Yeah.
That's just how I roll. But honestly, I'm still gonna see if this is good. I'm still gonna give it a fair chance, but I hope people understand why it could be a problem and why people have an issue with it because
Yeah. And why people need to see the big picture here.
like because it does seem kind of uninspired a bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And hopefully that's just
Hopefully,
this is the exception.
yeah. I hope it's a decent anime and not like a complete disaster like Persona 4 the animation was. If it turns out to be a half decent adaptation, I will be fine and it'll
That
be like,
that'll be
yeah,
awesome because that's the other thing too. Best case scenario, this is a really good adaptation, and we don't need to talk about the old one.
yeah, we don't need to talk about the old one ever again.
Yeah,
Maybe this is Atlas' apology for how bad the
and that would be
animation
awesome. That
was.
would be amazing.
Yeah,
I'd love to support that then. But based off of premise alone, I'm not feeling this.
yeah, I'm not feeling it at all.
Uh, Hopefully they can do. It's still Atlas though. I'm sure they have tricks up their sleeves. Hopefully they don't let us down. So I think that rounds up our opinion on it.
Yeah, let's go to emails.
Yes, let's. So, if you have anything you want to send us to possibly be read on this podcast, you can send us a question, Megaton related or not, to cathedralofshadows@gmail.com. So, here we go. Got quite a few emails this time. I had to actually clear out the email box and, well, I guess clean up more so than clear up because just there's a lot of repeat emails and I was getting confused with myself about what questions we had read and which ones we hadn't, and I needed to manually go through and do some cleanup work a little bit earlier today. So now everything's nice and fresh. So starting off, we have a email from Blaze Master X, and he's asking which SMT game would you like to see remade from the ground up or have an HD version?
Hmm. Probably one of the early ones, SMT 1 and 2. Just have them rebuilt from the ground up with press turn.
I got a similar question on Ask FM the other. Oh, also, I have an Ask FM too. If anyone wants to follow me on there, I think I'm just at Rasen22 on there. Um, so yeah, what I said is that my gut instinct says I would love to see an HD or like a new 3D version of SMT1, but I think Megami Tensei 2 deserves it more,
Yeah.
if that makes sense, because no one ever talks about Megami Tensei 2, and that is kind of like,
Sad.
yeah, well, that's kind of where SMT became its own thing.
Began.
Yeah, because Megaten 1 was just kind of it was a licensed game based off of book trilogy, more or less.
Yeah.
And then Megaten 2, they started doing their own thing, and then SMT 1 kind of set the template for what the rest of the games would be like. But I think Megaten 2 would be interesting to go back to and get its own remake.
Yes.
Second question: many fans of Persona would like Persona 5 to feature characters only from Persona 3 and 4. If this were to happen, would you be happy or sad about it, and will it positively or negatively affect your experience with Persona 5? I'd say
That
that
depends on how well Atlus can pull it off. Initially, I'd be pissed,
I'd
but
be pretty upset because you know
yeah,
their stories are done. Give a new cast of characters their time to shine. We can't because I mean at some point we need a new cast of characters.
If we just see Junpei walking down the street and he's like, "Hi guys," that'd be fine.
Oh, that'd be cool. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Just like Yosuke dicking around, and maybe you go into an alley and you see Yosuke in a trash can or something, silly or dumb like that. That'd be fine. Like cameos and
Yeah.
stuff, sure. But yeah, I wouldn't be too thrilled if it's like, hey,
if they have heavy impact on the story and they're playable.
that's the other thing too. Like, I feel like their stories are kind of done at this point. Just give someone else an opportunity.
Like after the dancing game, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's kind of weird how Persona 4 is going to end with dancing.
That's the best. That's the best way to end Persona 4. I hope that I hope that game closes every loose plot thread, like every single unanswered question about Persona 3 and 4. I hope it's closed up in that game just to piss off the fans. That would be so great. Just dance all the problems away. Dance to Seal Nyarlathotep.
Izanami comes back and you have to challenge her to a dance ball.
Dance out to the truth.
Yes. Oh my god.
If GameSpot were to review the iOS port of SMT1, what score do you think they'd give it? Probably bad.
Probably a 4 out of 10.
Probably not good. GameSpot really doesn't seem to be that thrilled about SMT. I don't even think they reviewed SMT4 even, did they?
I think they did, and they probably mentioned it's not like Persona.
Probably. Oh well.
I love Persona 3 and 4. SMT4 is nothing like those. 2 out of 10.
Like every major reviewer did.
Yeah.
Let's see. If Atlus,
except for IGN, they actually gave a fair review, which is surprising.
their review was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah.
I think they gave it like an 8 something, right?
Yeah, they gave it an 8 out of 10, and they considered it one of the best 3DS games.
That's fair.
Yeah.
If Atlus were only allowed to make one game before shutting down, this isn't realistic, but just roll with it. What would you like the game to be?
A Persona game?
If we could get a Mega 10 where they just like closed up everything.
Or they closed up everything, or another Persona game that will revitalize the company.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, make Persona 6, and then everyone will buy that, and then Atlus won't shut down.
Yeah, exactly. And then the party never stops.
If it was like a of course they're shutting down type thing, I'd love it to be like SMT5 or something, but like, or just like Megami Tensei something or other, where just every single loose plot thread gets solved.
Everything comes together.
That'd be really cool. So thank you for the email, Blazemaster X. So the next email is from Apostrophe Man, and he said this time he drew a picture of how he'd imagined the SMT1 Let's Play will be like. Oh wow, this was actually an email sent from a while ago that I just never read off. It says his question is, if Atlus decided to make an SMT/Persona game that took place in another country that is not Japan, what city/country would you like to see?
New York.
That'd be cool. Yeah, like, I don't know, as an American, I'd say like any major American city would be cool, like Chicago or something, but I don't know.
Chicago, New York. I'm talking about New York, not just the state in general.
Yeah.
Or Los Angeles.
Some like, yeah, like that'd be cool.
Or in Florida, Miami.
Somewhere in Europe would be awesome too. Like maybe Paris.
Yeah.
Like Paris.
Well, you know how Atlus feels about Europe.
Oh.
Oh.
How unexpected would it, like, how would you think people would react if all of a sudden they announced SMT5 and it took place in Melbourne, Australia? It's like, what?
It took place in Australia. It takes place in Australia, and Australians can't get the games, and Australians can't even play the game.
No one ever talks about Australian Mega 10 fans. That's true.
Yeah.
I wonder how many we have a few listeners from Australia. I know, but sorry Australia. Um, no, what was I gonna say? But yeah, what they could do with Australian SMT is they don't even need it to be about a demonic invasion for a good while because there's just
It could be bugs.
yeah, it could be all those deadly animals they have over there already. Like just fight off jellyfish and sharks and shit. Platypi, if that's the plural of that. I don't even know the plural for platypus. Whatever. Um, God, that'd be awesome. I want to see Flynn wrestling a platypus. That'd be amazing.
Yes.
Um, and then also he says tell Katsu that he has seen the Devil Survivor Dojinshi that he was talking about. If he's not mistaken, the name was.
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
It
okay.
wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Okay. Well, keep guessing.
Yeah, keep guessing.
All right. So thank you, Apostrophe Man, for your awesome art and question once again. This one is from. Oops, sorry. This one is from Orochi, and he says no pick or game today, but as far as influences from SMT goes, there's a little-known series by the name of Power Instinct, which is a fighting game that has a lot of humor and is considered over the top and weird. Uh, and has a lesser known game by the name of Groove on Fight, which was or wait, no, hold on. Groove on Fight, which was developed by Atlus for the Saturn and was never released in America. Its final boss is a devil summoner named Bristol D. He can summon pixies and Beelzebub. He'll send a pick. And then he says he has a question apart from that too. If any SMT game got a direct sequel, which one would you want it to be? That's a tough one.
Hmm.
The only thing that sticks out to me is maybe a prequel to SMT4 where you play as Akira and all them,
That'd be
like
cool.
like your predecessor, because it's implied that everyone is kind of reincarnated from the people from like I think it's 25 years prior. Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be interesting. We already know how that story plays out naturally, but that'd be interesting to see maybe explored more in depth. The start of that demonic invasion and everything.
Yeah.
Other than that, I can't think of any. SMT two Nocturne Strange Journey, everything's pretty tied up. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I can't think of any. Uh, Nothing. Maybe like if they could do like if I had to choose another one, it'd probably be Nocturne because I feel like you could do something
Do
after.
something off one of the endings.
Yeah, either off of either off of the like restoration ending or the true demon ending. I think you could pull off a sequel.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might feel kind of forced. Um, but if I had to choose, it'd probably be that too. So I think that just kind of is the most open-ended of all of the endings. I guess you could argue Digital Devil Sagas 2 ending is really open-ended, but I think it should stay that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I don't I think it's good to keep it kind of ambiguous as to what happens after DDS2 like that. It's a nice little touch I like about that ending. Um, okay, so thank you, Orochi, for that question.
Mhm.
How much more do we want to go? I guess let's go two or three more. Um, this one is from Lightblade, and he says, "What are some demons slash personas you can always trust? Meaning, what are some demons or personas that when you see them, you automatically recruit them and know that they are good? And also, what is some ways to tell that your demon slash persona? Or wait, hold on. Sorry, let me rephrase that. What are some ways to know that a demon or a persona is good if you are not familiar with SMT or it's like your first time playing or something? Um, well, I'd say that generally anything that kind of, if you look at its stats and it kind of specializes in something, like let's say an early demon usually is Jack Frost, and most of his stats are in magic, and he's a good magic caster. He's not really good at much else, but he's good at casting magic. And I'd say that in terms of that, that makes him a valuable member of the team, if that makes sense,
Mhm.
because hey, you have nice little Jack Frost buddy that can specialize in just ice spells. And then you could have another member, like another demon that it has a high power stat or strength stat, whatever you want to call it, and he's your physical attacker. So basically, it's just filling out roles in a team. Just think about how that demon or persona is going to, like, what role it will play in your team, and if
Yeah.
it,
What is it going to do?
yeah, and if it doesn't do much, then maybe
Then
think
just
twice.
fuse it away.
Yeah, either recruit it and fuse it off, or just don't get it at all. It might not be worth the effort.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. Sometimes it's kind of tricky to tell if it, because especially in games without a compendium, but with games with a compendium, this isn't really an issue. But if you're fusing two demons, and sometimes you do get a really powerful demon, but because of how your team worked before, those two demons that you just fused off make it so that your team is a little bit less powerful than it used to be, too, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it can be hard to make that call sometimes, definitely. But generally, just look and see how it would like act on the team, and generally you can get a good read off of that. What are some demons that are generally good? Well, I guess any of the Jacks, like Jack Frost, Pyro Jack, they're usually good magic casters. The big name demons, Mara, Loki,
Yeah.
Lucifer, of course. The archangels are generally,
Yeah. All the big name demons are really powerful,
hmm
and yeah, all of the famous demons, sans Pixie, are really good.
Yeah, I'd even say that Pixie is really good early game. That's usually one of the first few you recruit.
Yeah.
Generally that's some good heal, especially they only really know Dia. I almost said Dio, god damn it. Um,
I, Dio. You thought you were going to get a Pixie? Too bad it is me, Dio.
I was waiting for that joke. Anyways, no, but generally, yeah, Pixies come with Dia, and that like early game, that's a good healing spell because it probably is going to heal you all the way. Um, yeah, but generally, you kind of get a feel for what demons are better than others. Generally, the more memorable demons are the ones that are good. So, yeah. Okay, thank you, Lightblade, for that. Now we have one more email, I guess we'll go. And this one is from Neutral. And he says, "This is Neutral delivering your Laplace mail. Here is today's news. At 1700, you will find a quarter on the ground. It'll be great. At 1800, Katsu will also find a quarter. At 1830, Belder the Immortal will rise. Over 300 casualties will be inflicted." Oh, that's unfortunate. Let's just hope it's not. Let's just hope that those 300 are not us. Um, then he says he has questions. So he says he finds the first concept of Persona 5 revolving around dreams to be fascinating, and hopefully it will and hopefully if it becomes a reality, it will have more unique enemies aside from shadows. If you could make a dungeon out of your own dreams, what would it look like? I barely remember my dreams, so I can't answer that,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Um, God, like I don't know. Recently, all that's really been going on in my life is college, which is not even that exciting. It's just boring, and work, which of course is also just boring. So I don't know what if based off my dreams, because I'm too tired. Because I know that's the thing too. If you're just like, if it gets to a point where you're like so heavily tired, apparently you just remember your dreams less and less. And I definitely have been in that for a couple years now, where I rarely remember what I dream about anymore.
Yeah, same.
Um, which is sad. Um, anyways, two, in your opinion, what's your favorite dungeon in any Mega 10 game? As unforgiving as it is, his would have to be Iridanus, Sector E from Strange Journey, as it provides a lot of challenge. The background music really sets the tone of the place, and he really likes the dungeon design in general.
I like the prison in Digital Devil Saga, as well as the Purgatorium in SMT4.
Yeah, yeah, I was about to say that that was so great. Just like how
Yeah.
you're walking and the floor is being made around you. That was a really really cool dungeon. Uh,
Yeah, that
that's
dungeon was super cool.
that's the only thing I can really think of off the top of my head. In terms of dungeons, I guess the Cathedral from SMT1 is a love-hate relationship because it's so fucking huge and just it's just terrible to get through, but by the time you finish it, you just feel like a boss. Um, So yeah, that's really all I can think of off the top of my head. Third question: what issues would you like to see in Persona 5? Personally, they would like to see a social link based off someone who's mentally disabled, who doesn't conform with stereotypes that most media makes on people with mental disorders. If the player treats them as such, like acting as if they're completely incompetent, they'd like to see the social link reverse and or break. I'd be down with that. Yeah, mental disorders and stuff like that generally doesn't have the best portrayal in media. Um,
Yeah.
Especially there's a lot of I read a thing recently where a lot of TV shows especially or yeah, mostly TV shows really now that I think about it. Like like a lot of the crime TV shows, stuff like that. They tend to pull the this person's evil because they have a mental disorder and they don't really explain
Yeah.
like they
They
just
don't explain.
what's actually going on and that that's kind of sending the message that if you have a mental disorder you must be a serial killer. So
Yeah, you're going to commit. You're more than likely to commit crime if you have a mental disorder.
yeah, which is horrible messaging and it's kind of lazy writing if you think about it, because it's like I don't want to explain my
Yeah.
character's motivations, just fuck it, he's crazy, he has a mental disorder, like that's apparently a major problem. I guess kind of related to that, I have well, I had back in middle school, I had some pretty bad social anxiety issues, and sometimes that rears its head in media, and not the greatest of messaging gets sent with that. Like, um, that's actually, yeah, that's definitely something that I think could be treated better, and that'd be awesome if Persona 5 did, because I think we know that the Persona writers definitely can deal with issues like that in a really solid way. Like, if anything,
Yeah.
the sexuality stuff in Persona 4, while sometimes it is a little hit or miss, overall it was pretty good.
Yeah. Especially considering it was 2008 at the time.
Yeah, because I'd say definitely, even that sounds really recent, but even in terms of progressive stuff and movements, like equality movements like that, that was definitely a very different time than where we are now. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
um,
I doubt they're going to do it again in Persona 5, but maybe they might take it a step further and maybe include a. Hmm, never mind. Never mind. I had a train of thought, but my train of thought just crashed.
uh-oh, that's not great. Um, yeah, like that'd be cool. Another thing is just overall, generally, you don't see many video games that talk about mental disorder stuff.
Yeah.
Really. Like I can think maybe there's some survival horror games where they kind of play around with it, but aside from that, I can't really think of any. Um, Nothing comes to
And there
mind.
aren't a lot that have to do with physical disorders either,
As someone that
or
was as someone that was physically disabled for 10 years of their life, that would actually be really awesome. I'd love that.
yeah. And there could be
There's a lot of
parts.
people that treat you like your shit just because you walk with a limp. Let me tell you, that
Yeah.
is a like, until you live through it yourself like I did, oh man, it is a fucking shock how people will talk to you slower because they think you're stupid because you walk with
Because
a
you
limp.
think yeah,
It
they
is the
think you're dumb because you're in a wheelchair.
man, yeah, like, because I mean, I had a noticeable limp, so I'd have people talk to me slow. I'm like, you don't need to talk to me like I'm five. I'm a regular human being. Like, fuck off. So,
Yeah, I'm a regular human being.
like,
Can you please?
yeah, like, man, just stop being dumb, people. Um, yeah, that it was definitely. Oh, geez, I would totally love to see a game deal with that issue, because I could personally really connect to that. And I'd love to see other people kind of experience that sense, if that makes sense, because that is kind of underrepresented too, and I'd love to see that. Just
Yeah.
personally as me. Um, and then I guess fourth question: what characters from Persona 3 had the most interesting, or would have the most interesting shadows to fight? His money would be on Akihiko.
Junpei,
Ken. Okay.
Junpei Shadow. It would talk about how much he hates his dad and how much he just wants to beat up people.
And he's and how he's demand. I think actually Junpei, yeah,
Yeah.
would have a pretty cool shadow, because there's a lot of character stuff, because you have the whole abusive father relationship going on there. You have the insecurity about not being the leader that kind of goes away towards the end of the game, but is still seems to be present a bit in his character.
Yeah, it's like all the way until he gets his ultimate persona.
That's what else I was gonna say. He has the thing with Chidori and dealing with her death. I'd love to see a Junpei Shadow type stuff going on. Maybe Shinji, just because of how much of an internal wreck he is as a
Yeah,
person. That'd be interesting to delve into. Other than that, I can't think of any. Is there any others you can think of?
Ken, Ken.
Oh, that'd be good too. Ken would be Ken would be great. A lot of people don't like Ken. I've learned this over.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like. Yeah, they don't like him, but they sure as hell would like to beat the crap out of his shadow.
I like the Ken hate brigade. I knew always kind of existed, but like holy shit, it's really strong. I never realized how many people didn't like Ken. Um, wow. And then I mean just until recently with the Ultimax news, but then the fifth question I think we'll probably wrap it up for the day.
Okay.
After this is, do you watch other Let's Plays, and if so, who are your favorite Let's Players?
Aside from the two we've already had on the
Yeah,
show.
we've had Johnny Awesome, who is a Let's Player, just finished up his Persona 3 Let's Play. Actually, go watch it. It's pretty awesome. It's like 82 parts. Really informative, really solid commentary all the way through. Fun time. Go. I'll link to that below actually. And I think he moved on to Pokemon Stadium recently.
Sir
So.
Line, yeah, Sir Lionheart's in the middle of Conception 2, and he's done with Bravely Default, but now he's just uploading all the parts. He's in the middle of Conception 2, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, so check out those two guys. I'll link to Sir Lionheart stuff below too. Really cool dudes. We've had them on. We've had
Several times.
Yeah, actually, yeah, we've had both on twice. Yeah, they're definitely a lot of fun to talk to. So, yeah, go check out their stuff. But other than that, who else? Well, generally, I like a lot more. I'm more inclined towards the something awful Let's Play scene and stuff like that. I enjoy two guys by the name of Slow Beef and Diabetes. They've made their own Let's Plays and stuff, but now they focus on this channel they have called Retsupre, where they do these things where they'll either make fun of bad Let's Players and just commentate over their videos, which are hilarious. And then they also what they do, and it's kind of like a pseudo Let's Play. They do these things called wrong praise, and basically they watch footage like a full uncommentated playthrough of a game. It's just a fun time all the way through. I really like their stuff. Other Let's Players, I guess. Man, there's quite a few. I just can't think of them off the top of my
Jay
head.
Witz,
That's super.
even though he does a lot of stuff aside from Let's Play, uh, all of his Pokemon stuff is great. You can't deny the fact that Jay Witz is the man for Pokemon stuff, for news and everything. Uh, Another Pokemon guy, Shofu, he does Let's Plays every now and then. He takes his sweet time doing them. Well, his X and Y one, I think he uploaded it within a day. He also does fan hacks too.
Oh, also another one I forgot. Hold on, let me. Also another one I forgot about is Two Best Friends Play. They're really cool dudes. I'm sure they've played every single video game known to man. There's actually four of them. It started off as two, but they've kind of grown in number since they started out. I've been following them for quite a long time now. They used to post these like highlight reel style videos on Machinima, and back when Machinima was still a thing and relevant. God, this is a while
Back when
ago.
Machinima was, jeez, I haven't watched a Machinima video since like 2008.
I know, right? God, that's so crazy to think about. But pretty much what they did is they posted these funny little short videos on that. In fact, they've done a Persona 4 one, which a lot of people have probably seen listening to this.
Yeah.
That's where, for anyone who doesn't know, that's where the name Kenpachi Ramasama comes from, when people refer to the main Persona 4 character. And it's overall they're really fun dudes to listen to. They also have a podcast where they've actually talked about SMT a few times, and they
talked about JoJo's and how they got everything wrong in All-Star Battle.
Yeah, luckily the localization fixed a lot of those issues.
Yeah.
God, that was actually a really good video though that they did when they went into JoJo's. But yeah, they're pretty solid dudes. So go look up them too. So yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll see you around,
Yeah.
everyone.
Later, guys.
Yep, bye.